Okay.
Okay, John White here with LK10 with my new friend Tony Carey. And Tony is in Ireland, which I just love that we can talk to each other like this around the world. And Tony contacted us in LK10, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I guess. And we had a Zoom call, he and I did back then. And you have since uh, been part of a Church 101 group, and we wanted to share a little bit about that today. But Tony, why don't you first of all talk about kind of where you were sort of spiritually, your sense of hope for your life and so on before you started Church 101. Where were you?
Well, as I mentioned before, I'm just gone 60, and I was going through a long patch of thinking, well, my active life in the church is over, and you know, not much going to happen there. And I you spend some time on the internet, usually on Sunday nights, looking at different things, and came across house churches and things that were all happening miles away. And I thought these things are never going to happen here. And then one Sunday night, I came across the LK10 site, and I made contact, and yeah, and the door opened, and things changed. And then I went on to do the Church 101. And I remember the first big problem I had was, who's going to do this with me? And
I remember you and I talked about that. It's like, I don't know who would do this with.
yeah.
And what happened then?
So I thought, okay, if this is going to happen at all, I'm going to have to get somebody. So I went out and I asked probably my two closest friends, and they looked at me and very quickly said, no, not interested. So I decided, based on something that you had mentioned to me, actually, you know, that the Lord had people out there. So I just started asking everybody, and you know, nearly the next four people I asked from completely diverse backgrounds all said yes. One or two of them, I didn't even really have to explain what we were doing. They said yes anyway, and that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. And none of these guys know each other as well, which is very strange.
Yeah.
When we met for the first time, we were, you know, I was the only guy that everybody else knew, and it was excellent. Yeah.
So you've got there are the five of you in Ireland, and I think there's another couple from England, I believe, who's also part of that group. What have you seen happen in terms of the relationships? You're about 4 or 5 weeks into this. What have you seen just in the relationships there?
It's amazing. I don't know if you put five guys in a room, you know, other than doing what we do, would they be able to actually go and you know, share their hearts and, you know, open um, you know, to be able to actually be very honest, and you know, when we check in, it's so strange. It's so strange just for guys, whatever about, you know, guys and girls, but for guys to actually start talking about what they feel, and whatever. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Only God could do that, right? Five guys, and you told me that in Ireland, people don't talk about their emotions very much, right?
No, not at
That
all.
is wonderful. That's so cool.
They do in the pub after loads of drink.
There you go. So you said before you felt like your active life in the church was over.
Yes.
What's your sense of, as you're looking forward now into the future, what are you feeling now?
Well, the biggest thing that has happened with John is I've got very excited again. You know, I really did think things were over. I thought, you know, just, you know, be quiet, do what you do, carry on. There's, you know, there's nothing new is going to happen. And I got quite depressed about that, actually. And suddenly, you know, to go and ask four guys to join you to do something, and they say yes, and suddenly on a Wednesday night you're having a pizza, and we're sitting down and we're doing this course, and we're all talking and chatting, and whatever, and it's really lovely, really, really, really lovely.
Beautiful. That's so cool.
And
And I know that you've been sharing some of the checking in ideas in a few situations. Is there a story where you've seen that's been helpful to some other people?
yeah, we have a church meeting on a Tuesday night where, you know, anything from about 8 to 15 people show up, and these are faithful people. They show up every single week. And I thought, you know what, I'll take a chance here. I'll ask people to check in. And I got one or two odd looks, you know, but as it went around the room, people actually opened up and they started sharing and they started talking and saying, where they were at and whatever. And one or two people really engaged in it. Actually, they were almost delighted with the opportunity to actually say something, because normally they might have a prayer or whatever, but and we got to know a little bit more about what was going on in people's lives, and we were able to actually pray. And two people there, they're probably the backbone of our church. They're 89 and 90 respectively. And the woman, when it came to her turn, said, I feel old and lonely. We only go to 2 meetings a week. That's it. We never get out any more than that. And it's just too much of a hassle even to get out, and nobody comes to see us. And I thought, my goodness, that is amazing. This shouldn't be happening in our church, that 2 people are lonely. And I wasn't the only one that picked up on that. 1 or 2 other people around the group picked up, and actually people have been visiting them actually as a result. So there's something that would have never happened.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. And I know Lisa Pinkham has been facilitating your group and taking you through the course. And so if you were to share something with the whole Luke 10 community, these newsletters go out to about 600 people or so, pretty much around the world. What would you like to say, or maybe how would you like the rest of us to be praying for you there in Limerick, Ireland?
Well, I suppose we're coming up to doing the last lesson in church 101, and what happens next after that. It's very exciting, and we've had conversations about that, and I'm greatly expectant. I mean, I haven't been that way in my life for a long, long time. That something is going to happen, something different is going to happen. Encouraged by what has happened already. And very, very excited. So I suppose, I live in a city where I would love to see, many, many people meeting in community, looking after each other and blessing each other. So pray for Limerick, pray for where we live, and that this will become something that people will be interested in and blessed by. Yeah.
So a vibrant family of Jesus within easy access of everybody in Limerick, Ireland.
I've actually written that down. That's
beautiful. So I know Tony is on our Facebook group, our Luke 10 Facebook group, and so he's asking the question, what happens next? So we'll post this video there. Some of you all might want to respond to his question and just share your own story of what was the next step after Church 101. So Tony, I am just delighted to have you as a new friend, and so excited to walk together and see what God's going to do. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you, John.